Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Hey, welcome everybody to another glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Coach B, and we have a message for those who are living in Iowa.
Enjoy your stay. Welcome to LA.
So, USC 26, Iowa 21. We spotted you 14 points. You know, gave you an opportunity to take it home and win the game. Gave you a trick play, you know, and the coach was smiling. Oh, Kurt, you couldn't tell Kurt Ferentz nothing. You couldn't tell Coach Ferentz nothing after that play hit. Oh, he was holding back that smile. He was holding back that smile.
Listen,
you can feel it.
He was trying, like, you know how you had a little kid that's with candy and they couldn't just. They waiting for the parent to say, just you can get it, and they was just inching, and kid on Christmas.
Yes, he was. But at the end of the day, I enjoy your stay. Welcome to LA. Yeah. But you know, so USC at halftime kind of came out. I thought the points when they were struggling, and I've already done a recap of the game, so I'll let you go, Coach B. But I thought the points when they were struggling to not go in, you know, halftime empty. Those 10 points were really important. Mm-hmm. So they were able to get those 2 points, and our kicker just continues to have a magnificent season. Shout out to Ryan Sierra. But your thoughts about the early struggles, and then how when they turn it on, they really turned it on.
Well, again, I think again on both sides, right? The script that we come with, it seems. We don't execute the script on both sides of the ball for whatever reason, whether it be a fumble, whether it be something here, something there, something happens, an interception or whatever, 3 and out. We don't execute the script on both sides of the ball to be successful in the first series. First 15 plays are not executed for whatever reason. I don't know. It doesn't work. And then we kind of have to, it takes us a little bit to readjust. And then once we readjust, then it's like, okay, we understand what's going on midway through the second quarter. And then second half, we kind of we figure you out. You've been figured out, right? It feels that way. So I think the early struggles just comes from that. I do like the fact that we took the ball. We kicked the ball off. You know what I mean? We took defense first. Yeah. I do like that. You know, Lincoln, I appreciate you for doing that. I think that was a different, even though it didn't work out in our favor, right? It didn't work out, like we didn't get a stop or nothing like that. It still gave us a true chance and a true look at what our defense. It gave our defense a chance to be like, okay, we're gonna start this thing off, set the tone, stuff like that, and we're gonna understand how this game's gonna go. And then what it also did was give them a shot in the arm to come out in the second half and say, okay, y'all, we got a breather. We survived the first half. We survived. Now we're going to go and see if they can survive us and what we have to bring. Because everything from that point on in that second half was like, oh, we understand what you want to do. We get it. We're going to give you some things, but we're going to give you some things and then take everything back.
Yeah, no question about it. I thought, again, your goal is not to get down. I think the thing that was disappointing because they had so many opportunities. They had a fourth and goal. They had a third down. I mean, they gave up a huge pass play where, I mean, it's ironic that the first big pass play of the game was a play where you could have probably pushed the guy out of bounds for an incompletion. And then later in the game ended because we pushed the guy out of bounds for an incompletion. Right. Shout out to Kennedy Urlacher, who played well in relief here as USC lost some players here. But it was nice to see that. I thought, you know, they could have. The one thing I thought Iowa could have run the ball more. I'm not sure why they kind of. But at some point you have to start passing them. But when you see that many people on the line of scrimmage, you got to pass the football. You got to. And then they were doing a better job of closing up some of these holes in the first half. So you saw that. You know, and you know, this was not really a team that has to, when they have to rely on the pass, that is not Iowa's strength. And I think you saw some of the pressures. I thought Anthony Lucas was outstanding in this game.
Outstanding for sure.
He was okay. He was like, okay, this is the guy who NFL people are going to draft. Because I mean, if you do a mock draft, he's in the top four rounds, and you can see why as a defensive end. He's phenomenal. And USC is going to need some of that when they play Oregon coming up this week. But in this particular game, I thought I thought he was fantastic, and I thought the defensive line came alive. And that's the key to the defense. I still think at times I don't know what's going on with Desmond Stevens as far as like playing. I mean, he just kind of gets lost. I mean, this kind of been a lost season for him as far as that goes, and it's been tough. I think if they had, somebody else to kind of put in there, they could. I mean, I think at this point you might want to. I mean, you don't want to try anybody right now because you're playing Oregon, but it's just a kind of a rough season for him this year as far as consistent play from the linebacker position.
No, absolutely. And going back to your thing where you said, you thought they were going to run early. Well, I think what they try to do is come out and just take shots and score points, right? They want to score points and get points early to put our backs against the wall, to take us out of the run game, right? To have to have to, so they can pin their ears back, because you can tell early on we were prepared for them to run the ball. Yep. We set up the line for them to run the ball, and they understood it. And shout out to them; they understood that we knew you wanted to run the ball. We were going to take that away. The question was, can you beat us on the back end? I felt like they did a good job of that. We took some risk, we gambled, we lost, right? And on that, but through it all, we understood that if we just stay the course to what we do, we know that you're going to have to go back to what you do best, because throwing the ball ain't what you do. We know that you're going to come back to the run game at some point. We understand that.
And I think I think for them also, I think for the Hawkeyes as well, it was like, hey, listen, if we're going to beat USC on the road, they're averaging like almost 40 points a game. We got to score. Like we got to score. So I think them coming out passing made sense in a lot of ways, because it was like, hey, we're not going to sit here and just like, play ball control the whole game. They are not a great run defensive team at USC, but at the very least, we know they're going to still score points. Right. And USC found a way to score points. They didn't even. I mean, Jaden threw some dimes in that game, especially to Mekhi Lemon. The one on the sideline was phenomenal, and then the post route, well, the one that the Heisman one. I mean, it looked like a Heisman play there. And then you also have the leaping catch where he just caught it, bounced off his shoulder, and just got up and just said first down. I mean, right. Mekhi is something else. And the combination is just a very unique combination, a great combination. The two of them, and it's just the right two guys stayed. A lot of guys transferred from that wide receiver room, Coach B, but the right two guys stayed because they're pretty much better than everybody who left.
I mean, and I think I think 2 out of 3 guys that left are regretting it. I think Kyron regrets it. I believe Florida State, I'm drawing a blank. Deuce is regretting it. Yeah, he's in targets, but you're not winning. You're not even hunt. Yeah. You're worse than where we were last year. Zach is playing pretty good football. Got to give him that. He's playing pretty good football. He's happy. So you can tell that he's playing good football now. Concentration drops aren't there, what have you. But however, we do have the right guys in our receiver room, right? Tanuk Hines showing up big.
And I think the thing with Tanuk, I think that the big thing with Tanuk Hines, coach, is the fact that, like, I think while the numbers aren't there, the time on task, the time he's spent on the field right now, next year is going to just be so much. It's going to be great for him to be like, because it can be to be one of the leaders of that wide receiver room next year. Like I can't. One of the things I'm really excited about for next season is to see Tanuk Hines and that step he's going to take next year as one of the leaders. If both Lane and Lemon go to the NFL.
Well, the thing about it is he's getting valuable minutes right now, and while the numbers may not be there, he's a chain mover. He catches big. He gets big throws thrown at him, big plays on third down, and he's moving a change for us. So I'm not like, again, you said right. The numbers aren't there. The numbers aren't popping off the screen for us. That's fine. I don't need him to do that. I need him to do just what he's doing. When your number's called, make the play. And every time so far, he's made the play.
Yeah.
Every time. Like, I mean, look, the kid is doing exactly what if there's a drop, I'm like, okay, he'll come back. You know what I mean? He'll come back. And I love the mentality of this receiver room. They don't get too down on themselves. They make adjustments. The one thing I loved in this game, when you seen Kobe drop he made that first drop, took his gloves off. Because they made it a point to say in the second half, he put his gloves back on. But he took his gloves off in the first half. He said that was it. He didn't hang his head and get down on himself and beat himself up. He made adjustments and moved on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and throughout the game with the weather, USC doesn't usually play in weather. So that's another reason to kind of feel proud. I think the thing about it is, for me, is for the national media, like let's just stop. Like let's actually watch games. And if you have no intention of watching USC play football, then that's fine. Just don't watch USC play football. But like, we're in a situation here where like we keep moving the goalposts and say, oh, they can't be physical against Michigan. I'm going to pick Michigan, and then they blow out Michigan. Then it's, they can't win on the road against Nebraska, so they win on the road against Nebraska. Then what? I don't know. Iowa is the most physical. Look what they did to Oregon. They're this and then that. You can't do anything against this vaunted Iowa Hawkeye defense, and they score the 26 point. And then listen, on a clear day, the Hawkeyes can call it disrespect if they want. A clear day, they're getting 40 put on them in this game.
Easily.
And the
one thing they made it a point of, right? I don't know if you've seen the stat, right? No team before Saturday beat Iowa scoring less than 30 points. None of the teams.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah. Well, none of the teams beat Iowa scoring under 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
Say again.
So the only team that beats Iowa scoring less than 30 points was us. We went in there. We were the only team that scored less than 30 points and came out with a win against Iowa.
I don't think so. That must have been a weird stat because like Indiana scored 20 and beat him, and so did that
was the stat they had put up. Every team that had beat Iowa scored more than 30 points.
Oh, that's worse now. Even that must have been a weird stat because all their losses, they have 4 losses, and all those teams beat them. They scored under 30 because Iowa State beat them 16.
Oh yeah, Iowa State did beat them under 30.
Yeah,
I don't know why they put that stat up then. Because I was like, because they were like, it's gonna take 30 to beat them.
Yeah,
that was the thing. It's gonna take 30 to beat them. So I'm like, okay,
all 4 losses. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, again, neither here nor there, right? I feel like here's the biggest part. We came out in the second half. You didn't score a point.
Yep.
You didn't score a point in the second half. So people can say, well, can they play Big Ten football? Can they do this? Can they do that? We stopped the team from scoring any points the last half of football. The team that already put up 21. Listen, I had a guy tell me, right? It was funny because I had a guy tell me earlier, he said he was asking me about the bets in the game. I said, well, I think you should take over the 42 or 43 or something like that. He could get it at the time. And he was like, no, I don't think Iowa's going to score. I said, no, you understand. We give up points early, and then we'll score late. We'll score, though. We're going to put up points, but Iowa's going to score early. Yeah. What they do after that is, after the second half, is what's going to tell a story if they win this game. Because it's going to be over 42 points. It just is.
Yep.
But the thing about it is, I'm like, even Vegas was like, we're not going to put up points. Like, what games do y'all watch of USC football to say we're not going to put up points? Since when?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, at no point, even in our Clay Helton era, we scored points.
Yep. No question about it. Yeah, it was weird. It was that part is it like this. I just think it was weird that somebody thought that they were going to come in there and score 30 points. That Iowa was. Really sitting there looking at the game and kind of putting a bow on it. I just don't feel like this is starting to turn. USC is starting to turn this conference into what I thought it was going to be. They had one loss in the conference. A lot of these teams are quarterback deficient. They can't really score. On USC on a bad day, score 26. Bad day in a bad day they scored over 20 in Notre Dame. But in the conference. But you know what I'm saying, like they're gonna score points on some of these teams. So that's something where I think that people just have to get used to. I mean, if they play, and the reinforcements are coming. Like this is they're still building it, and that class is coming. We don't know what Chad's going to do during the transfer portal. It's more good quality players are coming, and so for the Trojans, I think this is going to be. We'll get into this game now. In a second, I'll let you go ahead and say any last points about the Iowa game. But this is a game where USC could make a big jump here this weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at the Iowa game, right, and this is the thing we talked about before, starting with Michigan, it's prepared us for games that we're going to go into next week, right? It seems like we never get. I don't say never, but it's not frequent that we get the weather we get in Southern California over the last week, right?
Yeah.
That rain, even the wind whipping the way it was, we don't get that, right? And it felt like they were like, it was like somebody said, man, the football guys, I was looking at Twitter, said the football guys don't like USC today. No, they did. They prepared us. Yeah. For what we're going to see. If you think that it's not going to be raining, maybe nasty in Eugene on Saturday, good luck with that. Eugene, Oregon on a Saturday is not fun to place to play. Yeah. Not fun, especially for a fan. The wind, the rain, all that, and it's a big game, right? But again, if you look at it, the smash mouth, the smash mouth style of football, the weather, all of these things, right, that we've had to play against. And while me and you have maligned our defense so much, right, we've talked through games like pulling the hair out we don't have, right?
Yes, exactly.
About our defense, I got to give them credit in the second half. They shut up.
Did a great job. Did a great job. And I think too as well is like people in Iowa were crying about plays here and there, miss face mask, this like that. But they got the ultimate. They had the ultimate last opportunity in the game because there was no pass interference or holding in the secondary when USC forced that fumble that would have iced the game. I mean, so to sit there and have to go through that part of it, or the game was kind of ridiculous to sit there and I'm looking for, but I think it was Big Ten Network had the game, so they were sitting there saying, they tried to do a replay real quick and they couldn't find anything and they went right to the next play. That's when it's like, and it was the Big Ten Network, so it was like, hey, let's not kill the officials here. There's really no foul here. So the producer's going to say, let's just go next play because it was nothing there. So they they try to show shots of that of the receiver's foot not being in bounds, out of bounds, whatever. I mean, it's just like you had an entire second half of football. You're not going to beat many teams, without winning in second half of games. You just need to understand that. I'm not sure what math they do at the University of Iowa, but second half of football games, 4 quarters, your best chance to win is usually to score throughout the game, not just in the first half.
Right. I mean, and they just go count corn. That's how they do their math. But it's clearly we all saw what it was. I mean, at the end of the day, we did what we had to do. right? And again, I'll keep saying it. We were set up. We keep setting our building blocks for games that people said we can't win in. Here's another game where people said we're not going to be able to win in. Here's another game. It was funny because I don't know if you heard the Lincoln Riley soundbite earlier. He did an interview and he said, basically tell those people that all the people that were talking good about us now, stay over there. Because all the people that are talking good about us said we couldn't win with a big game. We couldn't do this.
And I think going back at it, I think that was in reference to College Game Day being there. And I think he was sitting there saying, like, you guys didn't think we were anything all year. So like, we're not gonna deal with the distraction of you guys being there. He has the perfect us against the world story right now. Like athletes thrive on that. Up us against the world, everybody but us. USC versus everybody, LA versus everybody, California versus everybody, like all that stuff like that. And I think going into this game, and like I'll do like X's and O's stuff later in the week, but I think this is really about this game with Oregon is really about the fight for the West. Yes, this is the fight for West Coast football supremacy. Like there's no other way to say it. There's no other way to talk about this. Is USC trying to get where they once were. And you have the new dog who has been here for it's been like a good 15, 20 years now. They've been here and they've been whipping up on everybody on the West Coast, in recruiting and on the field. So I mean, let's just be honest and call it like it is. I mean, Oregon has been the king out west, and this is the first time that they have met USC resistance in that, and that's why and that's why it's very interesting to see what happens in this game coming up. Just a quick note before you go ahead and talk real quick. Elijah Page, Kamari Ramsey, and Wayman Jordan all practiced today. So I'll just for practice today. So hopefully that is something that they'll have going forward. But what are your thoughts about that?
Definitely important. We need Wayman back, and it's not that King Miller hasn't been doing his job. Because shout out to that kid. If Lincoln hasn't given him a scholarship, we need the video to pop out that showing him getting a scholarship right now. Right now he needs to get that. Right, it's coming. But we need Waymo back, right? Yeah. Because again, I like Ryan Jackson, but we need to get those three backs. We need to have all three of them available and ready to go. We have to. Because King Miller, I don't know how much he can keep taking this pounding. And I think while he is great in the run with running the ball, we need Waymo's vision in some of those runs that are just straight downhill. No misdirection, no questions. We're coming to punch you in the mouth. And Waymo's vision has always helped us in that, right? His vision early on, you've seen it.
Yeah, and I give Lincoln a lot of credit here. He's not really pushing King Miller's rushes over the top. Like he's not having a 30. Some coaches would have this running back and be like, "Okay, great, we got him. So let's rush the ball 30 times in one game." Like he doesn't really have a lot of games like that. So I think he's trying to spread these carries out because they know how thin the situation is at running back. Right. So I think that's really interesting. Is interesting. Here's some quick numbers for you guys. You get no, then it didn't work. I'm gonna say try if I can find it somewhere else. Maybe it's right here. All right. Some advanced stats for you USC fans here. You got the EPA. Their second USC is second in EPA as far as passing. And then they also are 11th in rushing, and then third and fourth down success. They're fourth in the nation. These are all in the nation as well, not Big 12 numbers. So, you see USC, they are playing really well. They're playing really hungry. Again, this game is you see on Twitter that the Ducks fans are going at Trojan fans going back at the Ducks fans. I do feel like if you are a Duck fan, they should be confident. They're at home. They have Dan Lanning is a mercenary. You know what I mean? He's been out there just like kicking butt and taking names. But I do think that the one thing that they do fear is a moment like this. If UFC was able to beat him,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about that. And
I mean,
again, so real quick, we got to go big game hunting, people. We're gonna go big game hunting. The last time I went big game hunting, we were out there fishing for Wolverine. We went big game hunting. We went big game hunting. We got Wolverine in this hat. So I think we need to go big game hunting.
I think maybe next show you might be doing the show with the overalls on if they actually win this game, if they actually win that game.
We went big game hunting this hat and the glasses.
Yeah.
We got Wolverine the last time we was out in this situation. We are gonna, this no ordinary duck. This that mallard duck. This that expensive duck. This is the one you go for when it's that caviar type of situation. Upscale restaurant. So we out here. The thing about it is that again, when you're going after Dan Lanning, he took shots at Dion. He'll take shots at you. This guy is not afraid. He's an SC guy. He's not afraid. This game's going to have to be played in the trenches. Where do they say we can't play at? And their teams are going to keep doubting us about the trenches. They're going to keep doubting us how good we are in the trenches. The one thing I can say is if our offensive line, backups and all included, did not show you last week that we can play with you in the trenches, then good luck. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think Oregon's defensive line is better than Iowa's. I don't think they have they may be maybe just as talented, but they are not as developed as that Iowa defensive line. They were all veterans on that defensive line. That defensive line didn't have any I don't think they had any underclassmen. I mean, they had guys with almost 50 starts in college football. So again, I think we're gonna win up front. The question becomes, can our defensive line win up front? Huge loss, in an interior, but can our D line win up front? Because that's what's gonna take. Oregon doesn't do anything spectacular to me. They do nothing spectacular with with their offense. It's where they're gonna move the pocket. They let Dante take some shots. He gets easy open shots. Is our secondary gonna hold up? Right? Are we going to blitz enough? Or I don't want Lynn to wait to the second half in the fourth quarter to blitz for the first time. I don't want that. Put the pressure on this kid, make him see ghosts really early.
Yeah, I do early down success. They are their offense is early down success. They're 8th in the nation, so they do do a good job of getting plays that are successful on the first and second down, so they can stay in short yardage. And then USC is 6th in the nation, so both teams do that very well. Listen, they have a lot of really good players on the team. I'm not sure if it's true or not that they had Emmanuel Pregnon and Bear Alexander as their team captains for the week. I think they do weekly captains every week. So both players are going to get drafted. Both Pregnon might have played himself into the first round with the season they have this year. They have a really good running game. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. And they might be getting their receivers back. We won't know. It's college football. You don't know till game time. But again, this is really about. USC can't go. The USC has done too much work to go there and lay an egg. For the most part, it's very. Lincoln's been here. He hasn't laid an egg where he got really smoked in games. But the one game he did when Caleb went there, that game was pretty much. Oregon pretty much handled USC in that game. So they got. I think some of the Oregon fans are upset that the game is at 12:30. I think they want it later. I like that stadium at night. I think it looks really cool at night. The Austin Stadium. So we'll see what happens there. But this is a tough environment, tough game for SC. But they played everywhere. I mean, they've played. I mean, you can't play. I mean, they played everywhere. They play at Illinois and for their homecoming. They played at Nebraska. They played. They've pretty much done play at Notre Dame. They've done all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see if that's a thing going forward for the Trojans. But I give my punchers a chance. I know it's 10.5, but you have to. You got to respect that they're going to keep this game close enough to give themselves a shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. Like everything we've done to this point has prepared us for a game like this, right? Everything we've done to this point has prepared us. Every game we played, there's few times I can look back at USC history and say every game we've played from week 3 on or week 4 on has prepared us for this moment, right? Playing on the road early in Champaign, playing against Notre Dame in not necessarily ugly weather, but playing in Notre Dame is never. I think playing in Notre Dame is just as difficult as playing in Oregon, right? I think that's just as difficult. Playing in Lincoln at night is just as difficult as playing at Oregon, right? I think that playing Iowa, even though we got Iowa at home, we didn't get our, like we talked about before, we didn't get our normal home weather, right? We didn't get our normal home, the home field advantage because basically we got Iowa's weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it was cold. It was cold
right,
too.
Right. So we had to understand we've gotten to play in these elements and it's prepared us for this moment. You know what I mean? I think being 10.5 is highly disrespectful. I'm being totally honest with you. I think 10.5 is highly disrespectful.
I think the road splits and the way they played at Notre Dame. I think that's probably the reason why they did that. But
we also know the numbers, right? I mean, we're still on the West Coast for this game, right? So playing at Notre Dame is a lot different than playing at Oregon because we're playing still on our time zone. We're still on the West Coast, and we still play well on the West Coast. We still do that. So again, I think we come in with, and again, I'm glad with Lincoln plays with the me against the world mentality, us against the world mentality. Like I'm glad he's taking that moniker up. This is the most emotion I've ever seen him show in a 3 to 4 game stretch on the sideline. Making a field goal, the fake punt, everything, like he's showing that raw emotion that these kids need to see. I don't ever remember him at Oklahoma doing this. He didn't do that when he came here for the first 2 seasons. I don't remember him doing that. You know what I mean? I don't remember him. Showing
Really, because I think he's showing it because he's hearing what people talking about it. I mean, I think when I thought it was that's a real shot at the USC brand when Sharon Moore said the game is sold out because they're playing Michigan. Like that, yeah. I'm like, bro. Yeah. I'm like, just relax. You're not Harbaugh. Right. Take a deep breath. That was basically saying that that everybody's here to see them, and then y'all didn't show up. So whatever. Also, if you don't think he remembers that from 2 years ago, he remember that conversation and that whole thing that Corinne said. Like, I mean, I'm not sure what is. I don't know what that was the point. I don't know what the point of that was. But as far as that goes, but like that was something where when he said that, of course you're gonna sit there and say, what the hell, I'm gonna remember that. And he did the Ice Cube in Friday. What's up? Yeah, to make sure you what's going on, what's happening. Yeah. So you never seen that, and I think like that him jumping up into the arms of the defensive line coach, I forgot his name, not Henny, the other one. Coach Nua. I think the coaches know. Mm-hmm. The coaches know, like they know the deal, and they got very emotional in that as well. But I do, like I said, I respect Dan Lanning. I think it's a damn good coach. I respect who we're playing this week. They are a very good team. I mean, they built it from nothing. They actually, I shouldn't say built it from nothing. They built it from Phil Knight's pockets. But hey, listen, a lot of schools got money and don't perform well. And they'll perform well, and they've been able to perform well as far as that goes. I mean, the defensive coordinator, Tosh is really talented. They did a great job. I think I would really take a lot from the Penn State game, because I don't think they scored until like the end of the fourth quarter. Take away what Indiana did, and obviously, I look at some of the games where they did play very well offensively and say that was like that's a big deal. And take that whole pot and see what you can do defensively to slow them down. I think the biggest thing is going to be obviously red zone defense. I need to see that kicker out there. Atticus Sappington, whatever his name is. I need to see him out there a lot. So watch the Ducks go out there and kick some field goals in this game and not touchdowns.
Oh, we definitely have to do that. I think taking a lot, like you said, the Penn State game. Definitely, I think we should have some takeaways from that. I think that while I do respect their defense, I'm more wondering if our defense can capitalize against that, because I don't believe in them offensively. I just don't. I don't.
You don't believe in the quarterback.
Well, I don't believe in anything they do offensively. I think this is their scheme has been their scheme, right? It hasn't changed. It hadn't changed for whether it was Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel. It hasn't changed. I don't believe in them. And I think that's where if Lynn is going to be the guy that we want him to be, right? That we brought him here for. Now is the time where you got to show up.
Yeah.
Now is the time where you got to be creative. You got to gamble. You can't be conservative, and you got to be this guy that's going to say, "Okay, we're here to destroy you. We're here," and again, not throw caution to the wind, right? But I think Lynn in the past has been very conservative. He's been he's think about the year that when he was there and they had Latu and they beat us, right? He was creative. We didn't believe in their defense, and he made their defense come out and play.
Yep.
Their defense showed up. I need him to do that now. Be that guy now. Be the guy that shows up now. Be the guy that's been underestimated, talked about, bad school, all of those things you want to bulletin board material, you want to check the boxes off for. Today's the day. This week has got to be the week.
Yeah. It should be interesting. I think for us to go win this game, I think it's all about a trick play here and there, whatever you got to do, like to get this offense going. If they're struggling, do whatever you got to do in this game, because they are. It's hard to be a blue blood and say you're playing with house money, but like since you're 10 game, you're 10 point underdogs. You got to go there and just like play with house money, like, and keep the pressure on them. Keep the pressure, because like because of the schedule they've played, and I think they are a playoff worthy team, Oregon. But because of the schedule they've played, they're looking for an excuse to leave somebody home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's kind of the plight of West Coast football. Like if USC wins this game, and both Oregon and USC are both 10-2, they should be going. They should be going to the playoff. But because of the schedule, and then that would give them 2 losses, and their 2 losses against the 2 really good teams they play would be USC and Indiana, both at home. That committee who doesn't even recognize that Notre Dame and Miami even played this year are looking at the situation, saying, hey, they might be in a situation where they might be okay. If we don't win this game, we're not in. So we can't sit there and if you're Oregon, you gotta look at that. You gotta look at it that way as well. So it'd be a game. I mean, the one thing about college football that is kind of cool is that you get these crazy elimination games every single week. And if you lose, then that could cost you a whole lot. So we'll see. I mean, I had what's his name? What's Herb Street talking about how trying to weasel Texas in, even though they were getting blown out. He's doing a game where Texas is blowing out Georgia, and he's actually like trying to make a case for Texas. And then if somebody says he's a West Coast, SEC, guy, he gets mad. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're you work for ESPN. ESPN is SEC, and that's all. And that's the end of the story. Like you try to weasel Texas in there because of Manning. Get out of here with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen it with Desmond Howard. Right now, that that was the ultimate thing that told me the ESPN is going to keep feeding this SEC monster, because Desmond Howard sit there and said Ohio State, A&M's win over LSU was better than Ohio State's win against Texas. When Ohio State, when LSU, when Texas was number 2 in the country, huh? Yeah. Then he says, well, LSU wasn't that, they weren't that the team, they're not the team we see now. Well, what about Texas? Yeah. What about that? What happened with that? Like, I like A&M, but come on, man, let's stop it. Just cut it.
I mean, listen. I mean, if Ohio State, if Michigan beats Ohio State again, I mean, this thing is going to get
chaos ensues.
Yeah, chaos ensues. They're kind of gonna. I know they're really hoping. They are kind of praying to a certain. The committee is praying that certain teams be certain to make this whole thing, work. And I'm not sure what the whole situation is with Utah. Well, I guess one of the people who work for Utah are in there. That's why Utah's been ranked so high. I think I'm not sure what's going on with. I'm not sure what's going on with Utah right now. But there's somehow some way that they have a whole resume that says people still think is worthy of going to the playoffs. But we'll see. We'll see what happens down the stretch here. Anything else about the playoffs and this game? I mean, like I said, this is a huge game. It's a big game for SC. And it could be like, hey, you're not here by yourself, Oregon. You know what I mean? Like, we're still here. Or can Oregon fend them off for one more year?
It's winning you're in. That's the motto right now. Want to know this week, winning you're in. We got to take that mantra. We have to go in there and again, Lincoln, if you're gonna run a trick play, please just don't get cute. Run something sensible. Run something that makes sense. And here's the better part. Tell your offensive lineman to stay home.
Okay. Let's just. I'm gonna ease up on Lincoln. I'm gonna let Lincoln do his thing. But one thing is that we need. Henson has been incredible. We can't have any more plays where the offensive lineman is costing us a big play by a legal man downfield. Like, look, guys, I understand. Hold your water. Stay. Just understand where you got to be. Because this game, we can't afford to have a touchdown come back. We gotta make sure every point we get counts in this ball game. So
absolutely.
Should be fun. Should be fun.
Going?
I'm waiting on. Should be fun. I mean, I'm waiting on the film for some of these games. So I'll try to do a film breakdown this week. But it should be exciting, man. It should be really fun. 12:30 West Coast time, USC, Oregon. Old time Pac-12 matchup. We'll see what happens there. All right, Coach B. All right. You have a great night. Take care. Fight on.
Yes, sir. Always fight on.